we've received some really, really high quality feedback from our social networks and from our listeners, which has been just phenomenal. Talking to the stories that we're sharing and the things that we're doing. And so, listeners, please keep your feedback coming. We really do love hearing from you about that. And so this week, what we want to talk about is we want to talk about energy. We want to talk about energy in terms of the energy exchange. Do you- and I definitely want to hit the pause button on that one, but I want to come back to it. Do you meet people where they are, or do you exceed and bring them to where you are? So that's one of my questions. And then the concept of matching that energy. And then Megan and I had a great conversation about this magnetic versus the repellent energy vibes. And I can tell you that I
Mm.
am a magnet. I draw people to me, right? It is that heart light that people see. And sometimes I was explaining this to somebody yesterday is there are times when I have to put a barrier. I have to completely protect and pull my energy back because of the fact that if I'm allowing their energy to come in, it either pulls me down, or they're looking to take something from me in terms of my time, my energy, those different kinds of things. So talk to me about energy. And welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another episode of the Unbreakable Podcast Network. I am your host, Kate D'Annunzio, and I am joined by the beautiful crew. We've got Josie, our creative director, Meg, our chief of staff, and we've got our wonderful little boomer intern, Grace Warren, with us. Hi, ladies. Happy friggin' Friday.
Thank God.
Friday. TGIF.
It's
Mhm.
been a week, man. It's been a week.
Yeah.
Is Mercury
I
drinking
know.
Gatorade again? I don't know. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on in the
Mercury's drinking
cosmos?
something.
Not Gatorade.
Not Gatorade, no.
Have you guys seen that guy on social media? He reads from the Holly Bible.
No.
Oh, you have to
No.
find him. He's like, I
Oh.
think it's like
I don't
tarot.
think
He's like,
so.
it's the Holy Bible, the Holly Bible. I'm like, ooh, that's a
Okay.
rough one. So, anyways,
Interesting.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, hey, listen, let's jump right into this. We had a little bit of banter beforehand, got ourselves pumped up, had to pull it back in. And we do have a leading topic today. We'll get to that in a few minutes. We've got a couple of really good would you rathers, probably not as graphic as our previous would you rathers. And we have some really good feedback that's come out of our listen. We got a lot of feedback on the socks and nipples and backwards chairs and all that stuff. So, but we also have a lot of feedback and data that's kind of come back from our William Tell All week one, and it's exciting. And we've also had some people who have said this isn't for me. So let's jump into that. So, William Tell. What are you guys finding? I mean, poor Grace, you're struggling to get into that app. So we're going to hit the pause button on you. We're telling you how great it is. Meg, what are you finding with William Tell?
So I admit I felt a little disconnected from my practice this week with the phone. When it goes to sleep and it cuts out, it's really like messed with my vibe. Cause like I really have been trying to dedicate time to get into it, and then it cuts out, and then I'm like, ah. So what I found I did yesterday was I kept having to make sure my phone was awake, but I put in my AirPods and I was just kind of working and kind of had it like as subliminals in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was working really well. So I just kind of kept replaying them over and over. And that's probably the most time I've spent in it, where I just kind of had it going in my ears and I was vibing with it, and it worked out much better. So, but I
That's
am
great.
liking it. I'm still enjoying it. I went in the other night and like I've even added a couple scripts because you've got like 60 seconds. So I typed out a couple scripts and went in there and recorded it. I've done some new affirmations. So all in all, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I've noticed I have 12 affirmations in mine right now, and what I've noticed is as I've become more comfortable with my practice, I've been much more scripted where I'm actually putting like a phrase in there. And one I actually put a box breathing exercise in because when I get heated up and I need to just step away from the laptop or get out and about just to cool my jets a little bit. I do. I pop it in and I use it real time. And that actually came from another one of our participants. He said that that's what he was going to do with it to break that and kill that amygdala hijack. And so I was like, that's a fantastic idea, because when there's a hijack in my amygdala, it's like you remember the movie from the Incredibles?
Mm-hmm.
You remember
Yes.
Yeah.
that?
Of
You
course.
remember that little? You remember Jack?
Yep.
Yeah. Where he explodes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. C'est moi, that's me, right? And so so hey, insight is a really powerful tool here. So Josie, what are you finding with your practice?
Uh, this week's been a little all over the place for me just because it is nationals. So I've been back and forth. But last night, actually, it's been a almost 2 full days of recovery since a big blow up. Literally, I got blown up on a field. I came back and I put my headphones in, and like Meg, actually, I just let them play through because I was feeling a little, I don't think triggered's the word for it, but upset because I did get hurt in my Wednesday game. Saturday is a big game for me because we're playing New Brunswick,
Your people.
which is, yeah, my people, and also the province that a lot of my shit has started. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a vendetta game for me, and just one that
I'm
would
just gonna
make me feel good to
yeah.
win the bronze from and take
Mm-hmm.
home. But I put William Tells All on and just let it play through my affirmations. And I think I played through 3, and then I passed right out.
That's
Like
great.
was able to come down from my I was very high up there. I was beating myself up. I was, a lot of negative
Mm-hmm.
things because even though I didn't cause the injury to myself, it was a lot of, well, I won't be able to play and because I can't stretch my arm out, or I'm in pain and I'm going to miss, all these things just kept piling in. And I got nice and calm about the third affirmation, and then I slept for 10 hours. So it was nice to know that I had something to go to. There's some technical stuff that still kind of drives me a little bit crazy. I don't like that it prompts you to record a new affirmation every day, or it doesn't count as part of
Yeah.
your cycle on my
Yeah.
end. But just going into the library, and I have a lot of affirmations that are kind of strict, but in my own voice, they
Yeah.
really do hit different.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel all hoodoo-y and, the basic shit.
Yeah.
So I do think I've been enjoying it, and it has been able to stop the amygdala hijacking for me, because this week is a lot of negative stuff. Like a lot of good things
Well, it
have
is.
happened, but as
Yeah.
someone in sports, it's really easy to beat yourself up.
Totally.
And
Well, and
yeah, it's
you know
helped with that.
it does. And you know what I found as well is, like, I found that my affirmations from, like, the first time I used it a couple of weeks ago to where I am now, they've just matured. And
Hmm.
it's so interesting because, like, my first ones, I was like, I must be zen and my voice must
Yeah.
be clear. No, I'm talking to myself as I would hear my own voice. And, I've
Hmm.
done some around my professional development, around business development, around my leadership, and the fact that I don't need the permission of other people to be able to go out and lead and do the things that I'm very good at. And what it has actually done is it's really unleashed me in a way where I'm removing self-limiting beliefs that I have to hit the pause button for these people, or I have to follow this, I have to do that. No, I don't. I don't. I also
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say it. I know who the I am, and I know what I bring to the table. And so it's like when I'm in a business development meeting or when I'm having a conversation, it's not about like I just there's this different level of light and confidence that's coming through it. And so yeah, I had a coffee with the founder yesterday, and we were talking about just some of the things that are the technical side of things. And what I can assure is that our feedback on the technical side of things are being heard and taken into consideration. So you can look at us as being a really, really strong pilot group that's helping close a technical gap. So I would suggest that people who are going to experience this, when we think about the headphones and when we think about the phone going to sleep, I've provided feedback saying, hey, it would be really great to have a library. That's been consistent feedback. People want to be able, or pardon me, a playlist. People want to
Playlist.
be able to
Yeah.
just hit a playlist and have them go one through the other, through the other, through the other, as opposed to having to go in, hit pause, go to the next one, and so on and so forth. So, um, But I've got some feedback here from our. I don't know what I've done to the spreadsheet, but now it's like if I hit escape, that makes everything better. I am not Excel at all. Okay, so the couple of questions that we've been asking people: what did you notice? What repeated this week? What changed? What surprised you? We asked if William Tell was showing up in the thought pattern of outside of using it, and in terms of friction, like did it create friction for you? And so if I were to just go back and share a couple of things, mine is very cheeky. It was like what repeated, and I said my voice in my ears.
I saw that. Like, oh shit.
But what we're seeing is that people are in general saying, I was able to stop amygdala hijack. I noticed that after recording things, I felt better. I was not bothered by things that normally would have bothered me. And I think there's an element of being heard and feeling heard and being able to maybe even sometimes just articulate something out of your brain. We had somebody who, said, hey, I just wasn't feeling all that great and it was hard for me to regulate. But I also recognized that I was struggling with hormones. So the things that repeated were emotions, feelings of loss and sadness. People were able to say, like, these are the things that are repeating. And so I'm addressing these things. There was one person actually said that the act of engaging with the app was a positive catalyst to changing behavior. Like there's a level of accountability inside of that. And it was self-directed, intentional action taken toward improvement. Like, I mean, those are very powerful things.
That's awesome.
What I thought was particularly interesting is that our youngest person, I just want to kind of tap on her results because she is 12. And in this space, she feels that she's feeling a little bit more positive as a result of this. And she's using it for 5 minutes or less a day. Like,
Awesome.
that is amazing.
Yes.
She feels like the affirmations are starting to work a little bit. And she actually said that, yeah, every so often I would randomly think about this app in my phone that would be my voice. We had a lot of, the things that were causing people friction weren't internal. It was more the app and the way that it works. And so, when we look at this, I mean, you guys have all kind of seen this. What are your thoughts? What are you taking away from what we're hearing back from our little study group?
I mean, it
I
kind of
think it's a
seems like
powerful tool.
yeah, powerful tool.
Yeah.
Besides the technology point of it, I mean, this is kind of what we're here for, is to help move that into, more user friendly, that kind of stuff. But the message and the work inside of it, I think it seems pretty powerful, not just for me, but for the
Yeah,
others too.
absolutely. And I'd be
'Cause I
curious
will
to
full
see it
on
once
admit that
we.
I don't like affirmations. I'm usually but I like my own affirmations because
Yeah.
it's stuff that I want to hear or I need to hear versus, the dandelions and unicorns and life is great. It's because sometimes life's not great.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm able to tell it in my own voice, just be like, pick up your you deserve to be here. Get your boots on. Let's go. That hits me so much harder than you're going to have hard days and things will pass or this too shall pass.
You're a nice person, and gosh darn it, people like you. Okay,
Yeah,
Jack Handy, shut the
exactly.
up, right? Like,
Yeah.
Can't take it serious. Yeah.
Sometimes I
yeah.
need that like hard hitting, it's the shitty day, but get the hell up, put your boots on, get out there. You worked for this and you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest affirmation is you deserve to be there. No one gives a shit about what other people say.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Josie, for telling Josie that.
Yeah. Other people's opinions are kind of like the back of your hair. They're none of your business. Unless you're more, like,
Mine is wild right now.
yeah. So Meg, you were taking a conclusion from that as well in terms of like what you feel
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we're seeing now is so great, but I would love to see the results if we could get through the technical friction of it, because I think it will just make it so much easier to connect to the practice and see
Mm-hmm.
even greater results from it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm just taking a note. Okay. I love it. Okay. So I recognize we're on a bit of a timeline here. I am a nerd. I think what we Megan's like, hey, wait a minute, I
Hey,
take
hold
offense to
on.
that. It's my little
Hold on.
glasses.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. She can do it for us.
Yeah, but that was so much more classy
I
than what I
can't
just
push
did.
my contacts up. So,
So I want to just acknowledge as well that we've been receiving some really great feedback just in terms of some of the primary topics. And so as a result of that, we've picked a topic for today. We have another one that's going to come up next week. We've received some really, really high quality feedback from our social networks and from our listeners, which has been just phenomenal. Talking to the stories that we're sharing and the things that we're doing. And so, listeners, please keep your feedback coming. We really do love hearing from you about that. And so this week, what we want to talk about is we want to talk about energy. We want to talk about energy in terms of the energy exchange. Do you- and I definitely want to hit the pause button on that one, but I want to come back to it. Do you meet people where they are, or do you exceed and bring them to where you are? So that's one of my questions. And then the concept of matching that energy. And then Megan and I had a great conversation about this magnetic versus the repellent energy vibes. And I can tell you that I
mm,
am a magnet. I draw people to me, right? It is that heart light that people see. And sometimes I was explaining this to somebody yesterday is there are times when I have to put a barrier. I have to completely protect and pull my energy back because of the fact that if I'm allowing their energy to come in, it either pulls me down
Hmm.
or they're looking to take something from me in terms of my time, my energy, those different kinds of things. So talk to me about energy. Meg, you're a
that's a
repellent, you
high
think?
emotional regulation,
I
by the
do think
way.
I tend to be.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
Mm.
it's a sign of high
Yeah,
emotional
I
regulation.
had someone once upon a
Keep
time.
going.
Someone told me that I was that I give off vibes, and I was like, interesting. And I sat in that for a few minutes, and I was like, fair. Now I do happen to think that
Fair.
I mean, fair. Like, I can get very focused on what I'm doing. And when I'm out and about, like, I need to get shit done. I'm always just trying to get things done. And so I do tend to kind of just put on blinders, and I don't feel like I'm always open, and I'm okay with that. Like, there was a moment where I was like, I want to be more magnetic. I want to walk into a room. I want to, like, and then I was like, no, because I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a
No.
Virgo, but like I want to like walk in, I want to scope out the scene, I want to go in the background, and then I'll like come out of my shell. And when I'm around my people, I'm very different. Like you saw a pre-episode, like I was letting stuff out, and it's a whole different vibe. So
Yeah.
I do think, and I also tend to attract people or choose people where I kind of become a safe space, and they will
Yeah.
open up and kind of, I don't want to say dump, but will unleash a lot of things on me. And I've had to learn throughout the years. I used to carry a lot of that with me, and it would suck
Mm.
my energy dry. And
Mm-hmm.
my beautiful bonus mom would say, it's like you have something stamped on your forehead to like, come just tell me all of your troubles, and you would try to fix it and carry it and make it better. And that's the recovering fixer in me. So I've
Mm-hmm.
had to learn over the years how to manage my energy and how to let people in appropriately, and also how to conserve my energy and choose very carefully where I'm giving my energy to. And that is something I'm very focused on in this era of my life right now.
I think it's powerful. I mean, energy is something that is tied to time, and time is the
Hmm.
only thing we cannot get back. Right? Like Grace, I think about the work that you do and the things like in terms of being in fashion and styling, and you have a different person sitting in your chair every couple of hours. if not every
Yeah.
hour. Like, so how do you, as someone who is constantly like having to cycle that energy, how are you not exhausted on your feet by 6 p.m. every night?
Honestly, so because of my thumb, I'm not doing hair right now.
No.
But when I was working in a place where we get a new person, like we'd want to do the haircuts from 12 to 17 minutes. So we'd have a new person every like with that time. So it did become, the thing is, like, if the person seemed just not really open, I'd read them, right? Like I would, I actually had a script almost in my head. How's the weather? Like, oh, like, what are you doing this weekend? I did that. But then I'd have people though that were really open and you could tell they want to talk, they're upset, and I have the most interesting conversations. But yeah, you do get tired after a while. It's just kind of like a small talk, I guess. You go
Yeah.
from heavy to small for a long time, I guess. But
I
yeah, just
small
gotta
small talk
not
drives me
exhaust yourself.
insane. Yeah. Small talk is like the bane of my existence.
Yeah, I
I
could
went
not
to
do that.
I
Ugh.
went to a
Yeah,
networking.
that was boring. Yeah, I
Well, and
didn't.
it's
Yeah.
those icebreakers too, right? Like it's like I went to a networking event last night with a new organization that I'm a part of, and it was just like I walk in and I know like maybe 3 or 4 people from another event I'd been to, and these people are all really friendly. And I've just finished a Focus 15 with Emma, who, by the way, massive shout out to Emma. She's playing at the All Abilities tournament in Ontario this week. On Wednesday, she shot a 76 on an 82 par, like just top shelf.
Damn.
Had a tough second day, but we got her off and we had a really good Focus 15, which went for about 30 minutes. A couple of tears, but we had a really good mindset when we woke up this morning. And so I sent a video. So she had some
Awesome.
love. So, but so I was, you're coming out of, being in business development and having client meetings and you're dealing with all of these different things. So Grace, very similar to you, I come out of these really heavy conversations and now I have to go into this incredible structure, this home. I've never seen anything like it in my life, 22,000 square feet, overlooking Crescent Heights. It's in Crescent Heights, Calgary, just gorgeous, gorgeous. And I walk in and it's just a bunch of other executives and I know a handful of them. And so it's that awkward small talk. How's it going? How's your child? What's going on? And then you're trying to like edge in and kind of share that energy. And at one point I was just like, I'm just going to stop and I'm just going to
Mhm.
let the energy come to me, right? Because
Yeah, I've been trying to learn that. I've been so trying. That's been my epiphany lately.
yeah, yeah,
Like, don't have to make other people feel comfortable. Like,
yeah,
you should feel comfortable. You
yeah,
know, well, both. Within
absolutely.
balance.
But
But
that's like, I think that's a woman thing, right? Like, very few and far between feel like men are taught that they, like, how many times does somebody say to a man, you should smile more?
Never.
yeah,
If I log into a meeting and I don't have my camera on or I don't smile or I don't engage, people are very curious as to what's going on. And it's like,
Yeah,
I can't
what's
have a
wrong?
bad day. I can't be
Mhm.
tired. I can't be upset. I have to come in here and
yeah.
be performative and lift everybody's spirits and make sure you guys are all on like, fuck off with that shit. Like,
Bring
it just,
muffins and all that.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
sorry. Like, and so, it's that thing where it's like, it's almost like I come back to one of my most common sayings, which is it's a problem you think you need to explain yourself. I don't I don't need to be sunshine and roses for everything, and I don't need to be the only leader in the room. Like in an example last night, I was there as a guest and they want me to be a part of their organization. So why am I going in there trying to sell something or, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
or leave the conversation.
Josie, for you though, the work that you're doing is very emotionally intensive, right? We've got people who are coming into pre-treatment housing and they're doing a whole bunch of different things to cover up something that they're feeling. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about how that must affect you.
My first month, since I am very empathetic, we do what we call engagements with every one of our clients in our housing. It was hard not to get pulled down into their stories. The women's housing, especially, is usually caused by trauma, your addiction, and that's a very common starter point for addiction. So, listening to those stories and having to keep myself separated, but also keeping that connection with them, because you do want to meet them on their level. But meeting them on their level sometimes is very emotionally exhausting, hearing their stories, hearing their struggles,
Yeah.
and trying to connect. But I've learned that I can meet someone on their level, but I don't need to take the emotional energy that comes with it. Because my first month was, holy shit, these stories are insane. And it's heartbreaking to
Mm-hmm.
hear, what they have went through and how they got to where they are now. And I mean, amazing. They're in what they're in, but to get to that point, there's a lot. There's a lot of baggage and a lot of trauma stories and not great stories. And as much as I would love to just hug every one of them and take it away for them, I've had to step back from that because it doesn't help me heal and it definitely does not help them. So I am very much knowing where to put my boundaries, when I have to put up the walls, and
Mm-hmm.
how to make them feel like I am on their level without actually meeting them there. I mean, it's kind of like a shroud.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you have to.
In the
You
nicest way possible. Like,
you have to.
it's
And I
not
think that
malicious, but
of course. No. Well, but the other thing is though, if you were to look at what empathy actually is, empathy is not taking on somebody else's burden.
mhm,
It is being present with them and understanding and giving them that safety, that psychological safety to really grow and thrive through it, right? It's not
mhm,
intended to be something like empathy and problem solving are not intended for us to be doing the work for other people. And so that's why, like, my dad worked in a jail for 25 years, and that man for a number of years brought his work home with him, and it was very hard on our family. And then when he stopped doing that, well, those violations no longer existed in our home because he wasn't bringing that home with him. And I can remember the first time our social paths crossed, and I was working in childcare at the time, and I was running a before and after school program and a summer program. And so it was summer programming, and one of my I say students, but one of the kids wasn't there for like 6 weeks, and I was like, "Where is this kid? Like, where did he go?" And then all of a sudden he came back, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you." And so one of the directors, we had the assistant director pull me aside, and she said to me, "Just so you know, the reason he wasn't here was because he had been physically and sexually assaulted by his father so significantly that he was hospitalized.
Wow.
And his
yeah.
mom could not find a ride that day, and guess who was sent to pick him up? His father, out on,
Why is that
like
even allowed?
they let I don't even know. I don't even know. And I was so disturbed. This is the North, right? And it's like, so I
Mhm,
was so disturbed by this. I think I was 15, maybe 16. And my dad came and picked me up from work. And of course, we're not supposed to talk about anything. And I said to my dad, he was like, "You're really quiet. Like, are you okay?" And I said to him, "No, I'm not. I'm not at all okay." And he was like, because I had to leave before the young guy was picked up. And I said, "I'm not okay." And so I said, "I can't tell you names or anything like that, but I said, this is what's gone on." And what was interesting was that child's father was on my dad's caseload at the jail, and they had released him,
mm,
but on his own recognizance. And I'm 100% sure that there was a no contact order, and I don't know what my dad did with that information. I didn't give him details or anything, but obviously the crime was something that you could connect back. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Um, but I was devastated for this child, and I was devastated at the fact that, and so I carried that because I was so young and I didn't know how to
mhm,
create that separation, right? So those are, I mean, like, the things that we deal with on the day-to-day basis and the things that people bring to you when you're in that healed state, when you're that strong person, when you're the reliable person, sometimes can be very overwhelming. And so finding a way to be able to compartmentalize it and put it where it should go is a really important piece of that growth space. So the one thing I want to talk about, and this is provocative, is the energy that we exchange with ourselves, right?
mm,
The things that we do and that we do to nurture ourselves, and what is a healthy relationship with self. It's not just the mental. but it's the physical and it's the emotional, right? And there's like, and we don't have time to really get into this. And so I think this is going to be a future topic. But I think self acceptance and self love of our physical selves and being able to invest and pour energy into ourselves, whether that's through, self care in terms of going to the salon, maybe that's self care through self exploration physically, maybe that's self care through talking to a therapist. But self-care isn't just going to get your nails done and your hair done. That
No,
these energies and
it's
these
part of it.
vibrations, they lift you up. Yeah. So I want to put that out there because I think it's a really important conversation that we need to have, because I think as women particularly, we are taught to be ashamed of our bodies. We're taught that we're not good enough. We're taught that our sexuality is perverse. We are taught that self-exploration is unacceptable. We're taught all of these different things where they're just natural, normal things that have become hedonistic because of a cultural norm in society. And so, any quick thoughts on that one? Because we've got about 10 minutes before we got to wrap her up.
Uh, that one, I think I don't struggle a lot with that one, but there's still the days. But it was a lot of telling myself I'm allowed to, I don't know. I do self care by either doing something physical, it makes me feel better, gets me out of my headspace. I know I'm going to feel better afterwards. Or I sit and I read a book. And sometimes I even play a video game. And that's a lot of, I'll use an example of the video games actually. People will usually say, oh, you're a gamer. So you sit on a couch all day long. You don't do this. And I understand why that's a thing. But for me, I sometimes just need 20 minutes to go into another world and do the things I do. And I mean, I pick games that are here. I get hit in the throat the other day too. I pick games that are story driven, and there's something that I can do in there. I can fix in there. I can, just go in. I don't pick violent
Yeah.
games where I'm going to get my anger up or emotions I don't want to feel. But most people will hear, "Oh, you're a gamer." And like I said, it's that blanket thing. Okay, well, you sit on the couch and, you shouldn't be doing that. You're a woman. You're supposed to be doing this. Oh, you play football? Like that's a men's sport. Suck it.
Oh, yeah.
It might be a men's sport, but we play it better. And that's the attitude that I've had to kind of get, is especially in the sports field, or in weightlifting was another thing. I did Olympic weightlifting for a few years. Women don't do that. Women don't play football. Women don't lift heavy weights. So a lot of it was being like, no, I can do whatever the hell I want if it makes me feel good.
Bingo.
I really don't have to
Yeah.
listen
Do
to
it.
anybody else.
Yeah.
But it
No.
is a long
And
path
so
to get to that.
it is. It's a very long path. And Meg, this is something that you and I have also talked quite a bit about, is, further to what Josie's saying, is that emotion and that self-care and the ability to find the things that serve your soul, to deprogram the things.
Mm,
Yes, absolutely. How critical it is to your healing and your growth. And I
yeah.
think as women, it is so critical to be able to connect to your body. And it can be through all sorts of means. And when you say that, people automatically assume it's something sexual. But just
Always,
being
yeah.
able to sit in your body and connect to yourself, all parts
Mm-hmm.
of yourself, once I kind of got to that point, like my healing and growth accelerated. And it's like untapped power in there. And it's beautiful when a woman can sit in her body and in her power and know what she has within herself. So it's something like I'm trying to preach it to my child, who's
Yeah.
a girl, like how important it is. Like, and like Josie was saying, there's lots of different ways you can do it, but it is critical to have that time and focus on that and connect to yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know why
And
women and
so,
men
like,
can't be in sweat lodges together?
women
And
are way stronger. They take,
exactly.
yeah,
We are so full of
they take
power,
the
we
men
will
out.
sap it from the men.
They make they sap it from the men, and we also make them very, very sick if we're in the sweat lodge together. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
Fascinating.
well, I mean, every single person who's here is because of a woman.
exactly.
Exactly.
The power of the female energy is just something next level. And so, Grace,
Mhm.
close us out on this conversation. When you think about the connection to self, the connection to your femininity, to those things that make you tick, what are your thoughts around that?
I to be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot. I guess for myself, I think I need to connect more with myself in that way. I really like to run though, like I get my energy out like that, exercise as well. But yeah, honestly, if I'm going to be honest on this podcast, I've been thinking lately. Uh, when was the last time I got excited about wearing like a new shirt or like excited about a new makeup idea? Or, you know what I mean? Like things like that. And I've kind of lost that spark. And so I want to take your guys' advice and then really reconnect and get that back, you know? So,
Yeah. No, I think
yeah,
that's powerful. Awesome.
yeah.
Okay. We're going to switch one last gear here. This was a fast and furious episode to our listeners. Thanks for joining us. I know we didn't get as deep into it, but I think we got pretty deep into some of it. Again, watch for more on our William Tell, but let's go into a couple would you rathers.
Yeah.
All right. We have 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes on a hard stop. Okay. Would you rather spend a month in wet jeans or shoes that are 2 sizes too small?
Wet jeans.
Oh.
My toes are
You
cramping
know the
already just
amount of
thinking
like
of that.
work, like you get so much acne and it'd be
Yeah,
painful.
but you could get broken toes from shoes 2 sizes too small. I'm in shoes all day.
That's true.
That would hurt.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the wet jeans, I guess. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh.
Oh, come on, Meg.
It's like, I'm gonna have to do the jeans because I had a foot injury, so I have to have good footwear. Like my feet have to
See?
be comfortable. But the
Oh,
that's like an
Toes went
ick.
numb from
That's a
heel.
major ick for
Oh.
me. Wet jeans. Oh, so gross. Okay,
it's because you live in Florida. It's wet jeans anytime you put jeans on.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I live in the land of swamp ass, so I deal with that way too much already.
Oh man, not swagina. Okay, so would you rather only be allowed to communicate with others? I had to work that in there. Would you only be allowed to only communicate with others by writing letters, or only be allowed to travel by bus? Letters all day, every day.
Yeah,
Letters.
letters.
I grew up writing notes and passing
Yeah.
notes. Like I can do letters.
That's how I used to talk about all the hard things that I couldn't say out loud. I'm going to write you a letter.
Yeah, maybe letters.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so would you, oh, well, we don't do those. Would you rather have every third thought you have be out loud or never be alone no matter what you're doing? Every third thought,
Oof.
hands down.
Yeah, yeah.
That's quite the question.
Every third thought. I need my solo alone time to recharge. I
Yeah.
can't. No.
Mm-hmm.
But that every
Yeah.
third thought's gonna cost me some relationships.
Yeah, same.
Every third thought. Yeah.
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 But you know what?
People are
it's
gonna
not
like it.
more. Yeah. Oh, they're not going to like it. But guess what? I'm going to have my alone time, and that's going to matter. Okay.
Right.
Last one. This one is. This one's interesting. Would you rather have your nose grow whenever you lie about an orgasm to your partner, or your nose grow whenever you lie about the cost of something you bought to your partner?
Oh, I'm exempt. I don't have one of those. So I don't have to answer. I'm good.
I got to go with the
Yeah, not
orgasm
yet,
one.
So
I don't want.
I don't have to lie.
I'm
So.
going to go with. I know, me neither. I was just going to say orgasm one. I don't lie. I mean, well, listen, this is a safe space. We're allowed to talk about hard things. Dr. Phil stole that one from me. That's not true. I stole that from Dr. Phil. Listen, it was wonderful to get a quick one in to talk about our William Tell, to talk about those energy exchanges. Listeners, viewers, please keep your feedback coming. We love hearing from you. Grace, we love having you on this podcast. We're so excited to have you jump in to your William Tell practice. We're going to get you sorted out. Send me an email. We'll get that dealt with. Meg, have a fantastic weekend. Josie, stay safe, stay healthy, and give them hell. Go Team
Give them one
Alberta.
of these.
Go out and give them one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you guys, for another episode, remember, protect your peace, chase your dreams, and stay unbreakable.